How's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some test match cricket. It feels like a long time since we've had one of these live streams, but this is going to be an epic test match between Australia and Pakistan, taking place at Optus Stadium. And the Aussies, they've been collecting a lot of gold recently, whether that's the World Test Championship, whether that is the World Cup, and they've also got the Ashes earned, so they have got a lot that they have already accomplished, and they've got another series here up against a young Pakistan side, couple debutants getting the opportunity here. Should be a very good match, but Australia, they did win the toss. They have opted to go for the batting option at Optus Stadium. Pakistan said they would have done the same. Now they're showing Nathan Lyon on screen, of course, returning into this Aussie side after his injury. If we see him batting today, it means that the top order for Australia have not quite done their job, because they will want to get a very good total on an Optus Stadium wicket. Of course, it's normally pretty bouncy, fast track. Very fun indeed. But the Australian lineup that they have gone with in this contest, it is once again David Warner and Usman Khawaja at the top of the order. Marnus Labuschagne and Steve Smith will be the 3 and the 4. Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh keeps his spot in the middle order after some very brilliant work from him over the last 12 months. Alex Carey is the wicket-keeper. Pat Cummins is the captain. Mitchell Starc, Nathan Lyon and Josh Hazlewood. So no one along the lines of a Scott Boland, anyone along those lines. No other spinner other than Nathan Lyon, although of course Travis Head can do the part-time spinner role. For Pakistan, like I mentioned, they've got a couple debutants, including Amir Jamal, a very handy player from what I have heard. Emmanuel Haq at the top of the order, so he will be one to watch out for. And of course, Babar Azam there, ready to try and create a little bit of history of his own. We will look at the chat. We have got the G'day, says AFL legend. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. He's put, come on, Aussies as well. Yeah, they want to really start this test match well, the Australians. A big opening partnership between Usman Khawaja and David Warner. Of course, David Warner up against Pakistan. Got himself the 335 not out. We have got hi from Brandon. A morning, afternoon, everyone. Been a while since I've been here for a cricket match. How y'all doing? Says 317, doing very well. I'm excited. I feel like the summer of cricket for myself, with how much rugby we've been covering on the channel. We've still, of course, got the rugby coming up, but now the cricket season, I don't know, it just feels like it's kind of starting for us on the channel. So it is quite nice to be able to be back watching test match cricket. Of course, we haven't done any of the BBL yet. That is something else that we do want to bring in the near future on the channel. But it looks like a very nice afternoon in Perth. I have a feeling that this one, there'll be a few fireworks throughout this test match, whether or not Pakistan can get those early breakthroughs that they require to really put Australia under pressure, or whether we're going to see some brilliant batting from Usman Khawaja, from David Warner. Before the match, they mentioned about how they could see that this Pakistan lineup, they like to try and get the ball to move away from the left-handers. It's going to be a bit of a game of decision-making as well for the Australians. What ball do you go after? The bounce should be true, but Shehan Afridi, he will be bowling. But it looks like the first over of this test match for the Pakistan side. I don't think the weather's supposed to be too bad for the whole 5 days either, so we should get a result. Fingers crossed, unless, of course, it is like batting on a road, in which case we might get a long test match of batting. Shehan Afridi normally gets the ball to move quite nicely. Ava is very happy because I buy her some chocolate up and go with some flowers, says Brandon in there as well. So I'm sure she is very happy with that gift from yourself. 28 matches for Shehan Afridi, 105 wickets, best of 6 for 51. If he can get 6 here, ideally Pakistan want to have Australia bowled out by the end of this day. And that would be quite a tough ask, seeing as we've seen some brilliant Australian batting performances in the past, I was going to say 12 months, but the past 5 years or so, they've really been able to put their opposition under pressure. 2 left-handers. Looks like it is going to be David Warner now up against Stuart Broad. We saw that broad angle of going round the wicket to try and create that seam away from Warner. His best is 335 not out though, and that was up against Pakistan in Australia. At the other end, Usman Khawaja, man who has found some very nice batting form in the last little while. Of course, these two sides are going to play quite a few test matches, so that is ideal. This one will be a nice little prelim of what is to come in this series. 3 slips, short man on the leg side, Also, they have got a gully, but he's almost a little bit more forward than the slips. In terms of, normally the gully would be a little bit further back, I believe, but they've got him kind of in a bit more. Maybe that is because of the angle that Sheena Freddie will be working with. So don't get why his up and go $17, so only by Ava, so I miss out. See, Brandon, I mean, $17 for your up and go must have been an expensive up and go. That's a beautiful shot from Warner. Played it off his pads just for the one on the lead side. Gets it past short man and gets his series underway with a run. That is a massive confidence booster as well for a batsman. When you're sitting with 0 next to your name, you always get nervous. He could have a duck, but he played at that one slightly further down the leg side. He possibly would have wanted to, but got the easy single. Good hand-eye from David Warner. Sheena Freddie, known for that pace, short format, also a brilliant bowler. Usman Khawaja recently bringing up his 5,000th run, his best is 195 not out. Average of 47.21. Sheena Freddie, the left armour. Oh, Khawaja's worked it to the leg side, gets a nice easy single as well. For both Australian batsmen, the opening combo, 1 ball faced each and 1 run apiece. Maybe straying a little bit too far down leg for Sheena Freddie. Needs to be on that 4th stump early on, see whether or not they get tempted to try and drive. Because we know David Warner, when he's at his best, he's aggressive rather than allowing the opposition to sit on top of him. Weird way of wording it, but he doesn't like getting knuckled down at one end. They've had 200-run partnerships between these two. Opening combo. Oh, misfield from Pakistan. That is not what you want on the 3rd ball of a test match. Should have been a dot, but instead the single has worked. Warner sitting now 2 runs off 2 balls. Not actually sure what's happened there. It was just a punch straight to the man at cover. And, yep, just hit him in the shin or hit him in the hand. Yeah, he just overran it. And Shan gets it slightly wrong. And that's your captain as well. So in that scenario, it's hard to get frustrated at him because, of course, he's in charge off the outside edge of Usman Khawaja. He's found the edge and it's gone down to the boundary for 4 runs. So far, 6 runs, in fact, 7 runs of this first over for the Australians. This is a dream start in terms of the amount of runs they've got just off the 4 balls. That is a good length from Sheena Freddie, though. A little bit of away movement. But just pushing at that. It was almost the top edge of Khawaja's bat. Right up near the handle. He moves up to 5 runs off 2 balls. This is about as quickly as Australia was scoring runs in their successful ODI campaign, the World Cup. Oh, that's the edge, but it doesn't carry this time. Just short. I think Sheena Freddie might be saying you're too far back, Slips. And that one is going to be another 4 runs. 11 runs in the first over for the Australians. Of course, 8 of those have come off the outside edge. But at this stage, you take any runs you can. It was short of a length as well, and the fact that it still didn't quite carry to the slips. I mentioned about how I thought gully was a little bit closer. I believe it's actually the fact that the keeper is deeper than normally would be. Yeah, Sheena Freddie, he's saying they should have been a lot closer than that. I think Pakistan have made a bit of an error there in setting their slip cordon. And it looks like now they have actually shuffled a little bit closer. Now Sheena Freddie to close out an expensive over. Its leg side flicked off the pads from Usman Khawaja. This will be at least 2 runs. It's a quick outfield for Optus, but it is going to be cut off well. And they keep it to 3 runs in the end. 14 runs off the first over of a test match. Even England don't do that when they play their baseball. I think that that's probably... It's got to be the most expensive over we've seen in a first over for a long time, doesn't it? I'm trying to think of what England have done, and they normally hit 1 or 2 boundaries, but to be able to score off every single ball of the over as well, not just, I mean, there was a misfield though, but you take what you're given. Last night I was playing GTA 5 and I thought to myself, why not buy new weapons? But I didn't have money for one I want. Says Brandon there. Yeah, nicely flicked off the pads from Usman Khawaja, and that was a confidence building over for the Australians. Khawaja's already on 12 runs off 4 balls. So he's got a strike rate of 300. We're in a test match, ladies and gentlemen. But Shazad will now be the man bowling. Young man with a bright future. And a lot of pressure on him at the moment. And cricket is a bit confusing me, but go Aussie, says Simran there. Currently, Australia doing very well. And also, I should mention, going into this match, Australia 80% likely to win. So, they are heavy favourites. Shazad now, on debut. He's got 3 slips. He's got the gully. Man at point. Kind of a short cover. I think a BBL team, I can't remember who did that in a match the other day. I have like 2 or 3 straight overs with at least a run each ball. Says 317. Yeah, in short format, it's quite common for T20 ODI. But yeah, test match wise, oh, that one's popped a little bit. And that'll be the first dot ball of the test match. Usman Khawaja caught a little bit back of a length from Shazad. Just showing the cap presentation for Sheena Afridi. Receiving the cap from his bowling teammate there. And when you think about covering BBL, Mr. Hamish, says Brandon, hopefully at some stage within the next couple of weeks, we will be able to start up the BBL. It is one of those ones that, with the amount of sevens that has been on, sevens kind of just dominates a weekend. Like, even when it comes to getting to sleep, you don't really get it on a sevens weekend. But now that sevens is done for a month and a bit, it means that we should have a few more gaps in the, I guess, the schedule overall. Though, of course, we've got the Champions Cup this weekend that we will be doing on the channel. We're hoping to do 3 or 4 games, I believe it is, alongside actually our cricket final that has taken place. Looks like no real strain on Shazad's action, which is always nice to see. You always worry with the young guys that they're going to push too hard in their first test, then end up with some sort of injury. He's getting them down at 130 Ks, another dot ball. 3 dots in a row so far for the youngster. Steaming in. I'm just going to have a quick look. What is the time in Pakistan at the moment? Is this a good time for a game of cricket, or is it middle of the night? It might be middle of the night. Not quite. 7:30 a.m. in Pakistan, so very early morning start, with it starting at 3:20 p.m. New Zealand time. Outside off stump, left alone by Khawaja again. I think the next 7 series should be in Australia. It certainly is actually where this test match has taken place in terms of the region. It is in Perth for the sevens. Yeah, that is the last weekend of January that we will see the Perth Sevens taking place. But if the weather's anything like this, I think it's going to be very hot for the players. In Cape Town, though, they were dealing with about that 30-degree heat, so they'll be enjoying it. $3.95 go buckets. How big is a go bucket in KFC in Australia? It came back in a little bit, but left on length for Usman Khawaja. You'd not get $3.95 go buckets here in New Zealand. For one regular chicken popcorn that's like this big, I think it's like $8. Australia doing it right. Yeah, that was well left by Khawaja. No point playing at that one outside of the off stump. Got to be very patient. Now one last ball for Shazad. Already 5 dots. So a much better over, bringing it back quite nicely compared to the very first over of the test match. Oh, that one's come back a little bit as well. And it's actually popped. Hit him in the thigh pad. KFC poison, says Arthur. But at least it's cheap poison in Australia rather than expensive poison here in New Zealand. Because like I said, you get like a popcorn chicken snack box. That's probably about the equivalent. That's what they had there. And they're about $6 here. And New Zealand haven't been on shape this series. Says Brandon, we talking cricket or sevens? And Amy Joe, mate, says trucking down under. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Are you still in the Perthal region trucking? Jay's from Perth, isn't he? Are you also from? I can't remember where everyone's from. It's been too long since we've done cricket, but hopefully you've been keeping well and keeping busy over the Christmas period. We have got the Hey Cool Hi All, and Hamish says Robert, but now she and Freddie, another over here, after going for 14. And Warner's had a slash at that one. He got excited. Should he be hitting that one this early on? Nope. But did he try it? Yep. Gold Coast, mate. That's the one. Jay's from Perth, isn't he? Yeah, a little bit of seam away from Warner. We talked sevens about New Zealand. Says Brandon, yeah, they've struggled a bit in their sevens. But then saying that, I think with sevens, it is such a week-to-week thing. Sometimes you're going to go well, and other times it's just not going to look like you know how to play rugby. But that's the beauty of sevens. You can kind of switch it around depending on the week. Now, Sheena Freedy, a little bit down the leg side again, but Warner manages to tap it. The man at mid-wicket. I should mention trucking as well. The next video for GoPro Cricket, I know I've said it for a year, but the next one's actually coming out tomorrow. Believe it or not. And it's from last year's final. So it's been a wee while since uploading one, but over the cricketing summer, we're going to have at least one GoPro Cricket video a week, and that will take us right through to about mid-March, I believe. So yeah, be sure, keep an eye out for them. Oh, it's off the edge. It's over the top, though. Over third slip, who they had recently moved up. That one has flown. And also, first time following cricket on the Kiwi lads. 5 Datist. I think that's Kiwi lads. 5 Datist. Maybe trucking you. You've only been back for 5 minutes and you've already sent my mum some beverages, even though, she'll be very happy. I have to get her on a live stream, won't I? So you can say hi to her. That was very close. He should have almost had a finger to that. A half a chance. She and Freddie's finding the edge. Mulleney's fine in the middle with their bats at the moment. Day test, I'll try. Says, it was there from Arthur. But I did enjoy seeing Canada make it to the quarter final. Says Brandon, yeah, they did very well in that regard. But yeah, massive thank you, trucking. As soon as I say, guess who donated you some money for beverages, Mumsy, she'll be like, trucking back. And I'll be like, yep. I'm sure I'll be able to get them on a live stream at some stage before Christmas. Definitely with the test matches taking place at decent hours here. If it was in Pakistan, maybe different story. But because it's an Australian test match, it should be fine, I think. Now, Warner. On strike, he's had an edge this over, but it did go for 4. It's a nice shot. Whip to the leg side. This will be 2 runs. Good run in between the wickets from the Australians. Fielded in the deep by Shazad. Warner on 8 runs off 7. Now, when he got himself his 335 not out, he was striking it at about 80 for that strike rate. So far, he's going at about 110. Head into the ground, no worries there. I'm wondering whether bat pad's even a good option at this point, to be honest. It doesn't seem like they're bowling to that field, if that makes sense, because anything that goes leg side that's pitched up, Warner's just going to be able to whip away. But if they bowl a little bit shorter and straight, maybe it will get him. Try and get George on a cricket live stream. That could work. George does not like cricket, but maybe, he might come round for a look-see. I remember last year, I think it was me and Isaac did a cricket live stream. And then George must have gone onto the stream to see what was happening, saw that Isaac was here, showed up at the door, and then I think we ended the live stream because George didn't want to watch cricket. We instead, I think, went out and about. G'day, Brandon. How are you, mate? Says it trucking down under there. It's nice to have the few familiar faces back for the cricket streams. Yeah, we've got a few more coming up in the future. I'm hoping to do some of the BBL also. By the way, I should mention we are just doing the first hour today. Maybe even the last session. Oh, that's a nice ball. Maybe the last session as well. But the reason we're only doing the first hour is because I have got cricket practice. So, yeah, I wanted to do some form of the cricket before head into cricket training just because I've missed Test match cricket and it seemed like the perfect time to be able to start it back up for the very first session of the day. Good, says Brandon in there. So Brandon's married trucking down under. I don't know whether or not he was last time, but he's married to, it's Ava, isn't it, Brandon? And he just got her some chocolate up and goes and some flowers as well, so he's very generous. Oi! What's that hit? What is, I've assumed back leg. Must have been back leg. There was a noise though. Got a bit excited. I have noticed since the cricket season has taken place here, I get a bit more excited about when there's little things that are close to the edges. Mainly because, yeah, back leg on the thigh, so no worries there for Uzi Khawaja. I should mention, fun fact, since last year as well, I am now wicket-keeping for my team. I don't know how it's happened. Maybe it's because my bowling was absolutely awful. So they were like, right, we've got to put you somewhere that you're not going to mess it up completely for us. Outside off, not lured into it. Usman Khawaja thought about driving. Brandon got married. Where was my invitation? Says trucking down under. That is a great question. I'm sure you would have made the trip. If it makes you feel better, I also wasn't able to attend trucking. Hamish, what the heck was that noise? It was the one that came out of my mouth. Yeah, that's just, I get a bit excited when edges are close. Like, I know the noise in the cricket was Usman Khawaja's back leg on the thigh. Oh, it's a beautiful ball again from Shazad. 133 kilometres an hour, so he's starting to ramp it up a little bit more. Keep the pace going nicely. I just realised I have the ability to put clips on, don't I? So what I might do, I'm going to scroll down here. Oh, where'd that go? There we go. So the benefit of being a wicket keeper, though, is I do actually at times have a helmet on my head. And we've been able to get some pretty cool GoPro footage from being a wicket keeper. Ooh, that's straightened a bit. I think it's a bit short, though. Might have even been pitching outside leg. Hey, Hamish, I didn't ask you, okay? So you know I'm busy, says Brandon. Although, to be fair, you chose the busiest time of the year to get married. You chose, like, pretty much when there was 20 games a weekend that we were covering on the channel. So it did make it very difficult. But they have not gone upstairs for that appeal. We'll see here. Was it outside leg? Yeah, I'd say pitching outside leg. Coming back, though, and hit him on the back leg. It's probably not a bad shout, but, yeah, just narrowly pitching outside leg, I think, would be the call. But Shazad, into his Test match debut, he's bowled 11 balls and is yet to go for a run. And that's nicely played by Usman Khawaja off the back foot. And that is 2 maidens in a row for Shazad. 20 runs, though, coming off Shen Afridi so far. Going to Mr. Cricket Mike Hussey. I'll go there trucking, sorry. And I was there, who do you guys have this summer for the cricket? So he's trucking down under. I know that we've currently got, playing Bangladesh currently. I think we've got South Africa, do we? Who we got next? So we're currently in the Bangladesh series. Yeah, we got Bangladesh for 3 more ODIs and 3 more T20s, and then we actually have Pakistan. But that's in T20, late February, or early February, sorry, New Zealand plays South Africa in Test match cricket. And then it's back into games up against Australia. So, yeah, it's actually, like, it's weird that we don't have a Boxing Day test here in New Zealand. Normally, every year we get one, you know, but not this year. Brandon, it's all good, mate. I hope you guys are very happy together. Says trucking down under. Shen, another dot ball. Must be warm in Perth. I'd say like 25, 30 degrees. What's a normal day in Perth like? That's normally like quite warm. What is the temperature in Perth? 26 degrees at the moment with a high of 28. So that wasn't a bad guess of 25. Are we okay there? Can you tell me again, please, mate? And I channel. Or could you tell me again, please, mate? Channel went on an ad. Oh, sorry, on an ad, and I missed what you said. So we've got 3 ODIs against Bangladesh, and then 3 T20s. That takes us to mid-January, and then early February, South Africa for 2 tests, and then 3 T20s up against Australia, and then 2 test matches against Australia and New Zealand. So she's very pissed off because I am awake at 1 a.m. editing the show. Episode 4, Season 3 is out on Saturday. Says Brandon. And there as well. 3 balls remaining in this Sheehan over though. He has been able to bring it back quite nicely. After going for 14 in his first over, of course he did end up, are you behind on the game, says Robert. Not by a huge amount, I don't think. Maybe like a ball or so, I'd say. Nice shot from Warner, the punch. Through the cover region, and they'll get at least 2 here. Do they back it? Yep, they do. They managed to get the 3 runs. Nicely done by Warner. Also keeps that strike rotating. But yeah, because I'm watching on Sky Sport here in New Zealand, normally there is a little bit of a delay, maybe compared to what it is in Australia. But yeah, we're not too bad in terms of delays compared to the scoreboard anyway. A nice drive, though, from David Warner. You have to wonder, when does spin get added into the equation? I was hoping Warner would get a duck. Says trucking down under. It's possible. Well, it's not possible now. Of course, still the second innings. There's half a chance. If it wasn't Warner trucking, who would be the next Australian you want to see get a duck? And I could probably almost guess. I think there's a very short list. And his name might start with S. Currently 3 runs off this over. There we go. Okay, I'm gaming with my New Zealand buddy. Says Robert there. What are you game on, Robert? Are you a PC or a console kind of guy? Do let me know. There's still a possibility of Steve Smith getting that duck later on, of course. Which I think Ava watched live stream because I just heard 2 of you, but she not talking. Okay. I'm on in multiple rooms in your house. That's a bit fancy, isn't it? And lol, says Naz Williams. Welcome in, Nazi Williams. Hope you are doing well, mate. Just talking about David Warner being in the news, smash in Pakistan, says Naz. And to be fair, if they were able to, like, they had 9% chance of winning this test at the start. So to be that low at the beginning of a test match is really unheard of. But it means that if they win, all the more sweeter for them. Babar Azam, I think he will have a big role to play. Shafiq as well. Al-Haq, the opening batsman. And then also Masood at number 3 will be in the action. Shazab will continue his bowling spell after getting himself 2 maidens for his first 2 international cricketing overs. That would be another interesting quiz question. Debut in test match cricket, how many maidens is the record when you start bowling? I assume it's like 4 or 5, maybe? Kia ora, Hamish. Nice surprise to come across this coming home. Says Naz Williams. Oh, it's going to hit David Warner on the thigh again. Be a lot of bruises on the Aussies. Both PC now, or but PC now path of war, says Robert there. I've been playing a little bit of Farming Simulator recently, which is probably not quite as exciting for some people as the game you're playing, Robert. I've been chopping down trees and making them into wood chips. Good fun. So you're covering 1 hour, then 1 hour when you come back. Says Brandon, so the plan is to do this first hour, and then depending on what time I get back from cricket, and I guess depending on what the evening plans are, we'll determine whether we come back for a later hour. Like if we did end up doing any of the rest of the day, it would definitely be session 3. And it's just whether or not it is the full hour or 2 hours and a half of session 3, or whether it's only a snippet of it. Yeah, worst comes to worst, if we aren't back later on today, we will be back for summer tomorrow. Probably the first session, I would say, is the most likely. Seeing as at that point, either Australia will be in a position of maybe close to going out, or they'll still be doing very well with a couple set batsmen. But Warner, he's already found the edge a couple of times. He hasn't had a huge amount of time facing off with Shazad. Getting that foot across to that one. Nice, powerful drive. But at the end of this over, I'm going to show you guys a slip catch that we had in our most recent game. Mainly because I know how to on the software. So it's all exciting. Hey, mate, do you remember me? I was the Indian fan on your channel. I gutted. We missed the World Cup up. Says Rahul, I do remember you. I think it was actually... Was it the cricket we did just before? Was it South Africa versus... Who was South Africa playing in that test series? But I think you were there for those streams, if I'm not wrong, Rahul. But yeah, India doing extremely well throughout the Cricket World Cup. And unfortunately, just that last match is the one that it went wrong, losing their undefeated streak. 3 more runs for David Warner, although they might check this, see whether or not it is a boundary. Just to see if he has slipped and slid. Looks like it's going to be all right as long as he's let it go by then. I think we're going to need this other angle. Still flicking the ball. I think it's going to be all right. Yeah, he hits it there and it's out of his fingers. I think that is going to be 3 runs rather than 4. Nice bit of work there from Shan. Yes, I'm going to Australia versus Pakistan match of the SCG. Looking forward to your stream. Hope there will be no rain this time, says Raul. Yeah, because I remember, was it last year or the year before? It might have actually been a couple years ago when we were covering that test match. And it may have been yourself, actually, who did go to the cricket and then it just kept on raining, unfortunately. And I think we only got about 3 of the 5 days in because of all the rain around the SCG. Nicely played by Khawaja, not leaving a gap between bat and pad. Another dot ball, so Shazad, that was his first runs off him in test match cricket. Yeah, I remember your role in the rain, says Naz. It was me, 2023, Australia versus South Africa. Early on this year, cheers mate, says Rahul. Oh, so it was a lot more recently. Oh yeah, because we're in December, aren't we? It's weird how quickly this year's gone, but also at the same time, if it makes sense, how slow it's gone at times as well. Like, to me, that series felt like it was like 2 years ago, but it was only about 12 months. Oh, half a chance for a run out. Nice bit of work from Pakistan, only 3 runs off the over, and that will be the end of the 6th over. So what we're going to do just in this little break, ladies and gents, I'll show you a clip that I got from my GoPro this last weekend while wicket keeping. It's quite a cool looking one, and the angle of it, for some reason, I feel like this is better, like in terms of being able to watch it than like watching it on TV, if that makes sense, just because you feel like you're out there. I'll show you the clip before I keep rambling.
Yes. Boom.
Well done.
Oh.
That was Simon. Simon loves slip catches, but he also loves making noises. He just grunts and moans when he takes a catch. And it's happened multiple times because if he puts it down, he gets quite angry. He's English, by the way, but yeah, when he takes one, he just kind of, and you think you're going to get punched, but he never punches anyone, I should mention. Oh, nice, says Nuzzy Williams, and cool, says Robert. But yeah, something about that angle of like seeing the edge and then turning the head to watch the outside edge, says Chronic, it was, yep, just carried. I wish Simon would replace Warner at first slip. He'd love that. old Simon. But yeah. But that angle alongside that, it's like the batting angle when you have a shot that you actually play and you see it afterwards. It just looks cool, And those palms got short temper, man, says Nazi Williams. Oh, Kerry O'Keefe already into the commentary box. First 30 minutes of the session down already, which is, it flew by. We've been going for 35 minutes already. Shaheen continuing his spell. He's gone for 23 runs so far, so been definitely the more expensive of the two bowling options. Cut away by Warner, and that will be more runs. It was back of a length, which meant he was able to throw the hands at it, and he does now move up to 14 runs. In fact, he moves to 18. As an Aussie, is good having the Test cricket summer back. Says AFL legend, yeah, I do enjoy a Test summer in Australia, mainly because the time zones are really good for us here in New Zealand. Like when it's a Pakistan series or a series in India, the West Indies, all the games are played in the middle of the night, whereas these ones are just perfect timing. 18 too many, says Trucking Down Under. So, Trucking, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly. Honest answer, how many runs do you think Warner will actually get here? I know how many you wanted him to get, but, he's just got 4 more. He's flicked that one to the leg side, so hopefully you didn't say 18, but 4 more for David Warner. Brilliant bit of work there to be able to get into position that quickly. And I've been trying some racing GTA on my own because I suck. Says Brandon, and also we get no races at all. I all love to all ethnic groups. Māori, I got short temper as well. Lower on 22, hopefully. Okay. So, see, that might be what you want him to get compared to what you think he will get. Do you think he'll go out here? Because he's looking in form, unfortunately. He's going well. And low 22, says Nazi Williams. Century, says Chronic. Right. Will he go out this ball? No, he's hit it straight to the man at square leg. They've also taken out that bat pad. Like I mentioned, there was no real point of having him there when you're not bowling to that plan of trying to rough him up a little bit. 336. So you're saying he gets a new record for himself. That would be impressive. And you'd assume that if he was to do that, Australia would well and truly be in the box seat in this match. Looks like it's going to rain outside, and we have outdoor practice, so this might be a very wet evening. 89, says Brandon, it's the opposite for me in the US. West Indies and Pakistan games are in the day, the Australian games in the middle of the night. The T20 international games in this series won't start till 3 a.m. for me. Yeah, so you're pretty much the complete opposite of myself, I guess, in terms of like those games that take place in the West Indies for us and whatnot. I like 3 a.m. ones. At 99, that would make me laugh. Says Trucking Down Under. Going out on 99 is like a batsman's worst nightmare. Well, is it? Here's a question, ladies and gents. Answer honestly. I feel like I know what the answer would be, but would you rather go out on 99 or would you rather go out on 0? I feel like I know what I'd choose, but do let me know. In fact, we'll change it because I feel like that's a little bit too easy. No, never mind. I won't change it. I thought I was delusional with him getting a century. Golden duck for me. Says Trucking Down Under. I want to say something in terms of ducks, but I know it's going to jinx myself because I've got a cricket final this weekend on Saturday. I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think I've got a duck in an extremely long time. I think I've had one in my cricketing career, and that was way back in probably about 2008, somewhere around there. So that's how you perfectly jinx a final, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what's that hit? I think that's another thigh pad of Usman Khawaja. And also we have got the 99, at least you got some runs, or you'd be proud to score runs, says Robert there. And welcome in, Robert. I hope you are doing extremely well as well, mate. And America has so many time zones, says Chronic. And it rained more cricket live stream, says Brandon. That is true. If practice gets called off, we would end up sticking around for more. I know you shouldn't have said it. You better knock on wood before you face the music, says 317. Yeah. Would be unfortunate. Yeah, it's just the inside edge. Yeah, it doesn't hit Kawaja's bat, but instead hits his back pad. And hey, Brandon, I'm good, you? Says Robert. Oh, I'll tell you what, though. At the end of this over, I will show you a shot that I want to play in a game that I have not played in a game yet. And I don't think I ever will get to because I'm not brave enough to play it during a match. I was going to try and bat left-handed last game, but I got told off. But that's all right. But Shazad, 136 wickets throughout his first-class career. Warner sitting 22 off 22. Kawaja 12 off 23. So a great start for Australia. Abdagay Hamish, do you think, or who do you think will take Warner's spot for Australia versus New Zealand? Oh, it's a good question. Oh, tight run. No, they get there. Took a little bit too long to be able to get that throw away for Pakistan. Risky run for Kawaja there. Really at this stage of the test match. I honestly, it'll be tricky to know who they'll go with at the top of the order, mainly because of how many times Warner has just been there. There's a few of the other first-class guys that you can look at maybe. I don't know why, but for some reason putting Travis Head as opener came into my mind, but you shouldn't because he's so good at 5. Who they got at the moment who can open the batting? I can't think of a single other opener. Oh, it's over the top of the cordon, or the slip cordon, I should say. I've already worked that out. It's going to be Simon, says chucking down under. And every time he hits a boundary, he's going to growl like he's a bear. And I was like, can you bat left-handed? I've improved left-handed. I'd say I've had some good training in it. Yeah, that's a tricky shot from Warner. It doesn't look like he fully committed. Matt Renshaw, that is true. Matty Renshaw could have a chance. Although, does he want to open? That's probably the big question. Or would he prefer to be middle order? Or kind of more of that Travis Head role of around that 5 mark? Maybe 6. It depends on if Mitch Marsh is in the team though as well, isn't it? And Matty over Travis, says Chronic, but I assume you'd still have Travis Head. Oh, shot, lovely. It's a great drive from David Warner. That one will race to the boundary, and we've got a gifted membership from Robert as well. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. But 2 back-to-back boundaries for David Warner as he moves up to 30 runs off 24 deliveries. He is on fire at the moment. He might have a century before, oh, sorry, not a century, but his half century before we finish this live stream. Great drive. Meeting it beautifully. But this shot I'm going to show you is this one here. I want to be able to play it in a game, but I know I'm going to get caught. But we'll see. Maybe we do it in the final. I'm too scared to play that one. Mainly because I don't hit the ball in the air without getting caught. Shane Afridi will continue his bowling spell. He's sitting on 31 runs off him so far throughout the 4. This is some brilliant work from the Australians. They're going at over 5 and over at the moment. And Robert, thanks, mate. Oh, did you get the gift of membership, Trucker? Congratulations. Robert's been throwing them around like they're confectionery over the last couple of months, definitely during the World Cup. Yeah, you've now got those access to those emojis, Trucking, so hopefully you do enjoy using them. We've still got the Christmas one from last year, but now that we're in December, it makes sense to have the Christmas one. I think the Halloween one. What's a gifted membership? In short, thanks. Pretty much it means that Robert pretty much donates a membership and it will go to a random person in the chat who isn't a member. And then if it isn't someone in the chat who gets it, normally it is a person from the live streams in the past or someone from the community who does receive that gifted membership, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's pretty much like a double up of his membership that he's given to someone else. But then after that month, that person can decide whether they want to continue it or whether they want to end it type thing. And true awesome, Robert. I can see the wicket from that vid. Says Chronic Underachiever. Which one? The off stump or the leg stump? Because off stump, oh, that's nice. Off stump's probably not a bad thing because that means I was set up on middle. But if it was leg stump, then maybe I was a little bit too far shuffled over. Although I don't normally set up on off stump, mainly because I know I'm not that strong on the leg side, so I wouldn't want to expose my leg stump to the bowlers. And also say, for example, I could gift you one, says Robert there. I think I got a message from YouTube saying that now the channel can actually gift some memberships each month. Although I don't know if that's come in yet or whether that's something you can do from next year onwards. So I might be able to gift a few. A leg for sure. Says Chronic, we're going to have another look at it, aren't we, at the end of this over. See whether or not you can see my leg stump. And all goods, mate. Says Nazi Williams. The one leg bye. Now Warner back on strike. 2 balls left in the over. Probably wants to whack one of these away to the boundary just because that is the way that he has played. And like I mentioned, he is normally the most dangerous when he's being aggressive. Got a little bit of a field change here. Looks like they've got a man at 3/4 point. Halfway in between. I'm just getting emails from Uber Eats, even though Uber Eats does not deliver here. That's a bit sad. Oh, Peach. That is a brilliant ball from Shanna Freddie. Warner gives him a little clap for it. That is a beautiful ball. Oh, squares him up a little bit. Just drifted away late. And Warner just not quite able to get it. You can see the disappointment on Shanna Freddie's face. Thought that he had it. But he did not. Shanna Freddie. Last ball of the over. He advances down the wicket. And that will be the end of the over. Right, we're going to look at this to see whether or not you can see my leg stump. Don't know about the leg stump. I feel like that was pretty well blocked by me body. You can see my off stump, but a little tiny bit of middle stump when I was kind of setting. And I know KFC Uber, says Robert there. Tell you what, if Uber Eats was a thing here, like in my small town, like it would be dangerous. Because the amount of times, but that's the thing though, we'd have Uber Eats, but we'd have nowhere open. So if we had places that were open and Uber Eats, the amount of like 3 a.m. live streams I've finished and gone, oh, I love some chips, or I love a burger or something like that, like it would be brilliant, but they don't have it here. So like I'd have to cook it myself. Now Shazab will be continuing. He's gone for 3 runs and over. Those first 2 overs were maidens in his test match career. There are 15 minutes remaining before the drinks break, and that was where we were going to be cutting off, mainly because I've got to get to training after that. We will maybe be back later on this evening. Oh, Khawaja eats one again to the inner thigh. A lot of bruises on the Aussie bodies, like I mentioned earlier on. And I think that's just, oh, they almost got him in the box instead. It's just a little bit of extra pop at the moment off the service, which can be expected in Perth at Optus Stadium. Is this a day-night test, says Robert? I believe it's just a day test. Because in Perth, they're 5 hours behind us, so it's currently only 11:04 a.m. So, oh, nice drive down the ground from Khawaja. Just plays the line of the ball. Looks like he will get the 2 runs for it. Uber stock is up 150% this year. Might be profitable for the first in forever, says Chronic. 15 runs off 30 for Usman Khawaja. just talking about Shan Masood, the fact that he averages less than 30. He's over the age of 30. He's actually 34, and they're giving him the chance to captain Pakistan. So I don't know whether or not that's because Babar Azam didn't want it or what the go is there. That's going to be nicely pulled away, though. Lowe's Mkawaji gets the single off his gloves. That means Warner will be back on strike. There's a big yawn. Just quickly, in terms of the odds, currently Australia, they're actually 74% likely to win. So that was actually 80 at the start of the test match. 19% chance of the draw in Pakistan, only 7% chance that they go on to win this game. But if there were a couple wickets that fell, that could completely change that statistic. Outside off, a little bit lofty from David Warner. It will still be another 4 runs. Race into the boundary. Anytime it's been full and wide, or even if it's short and wide, David Warner has decided to throw the hands at it. Work on the theory that he'll be able to beat the field. That is now the 50-run partnership between these two. Very good start to the match for the Australians. Oh, you see, that one was off the outside edge. That looked like actually more of a cover drive attempt for David Warner. Like they've said, he's playing high risk, but he is getting a lot of reward at the moment, David Warner. "51 runs off 58 balls for the partnership. Shazad actually managing to bring his speed up to around 136 Ks now, compared to earlier on where he was getting it down there at about 130. But already 7 runs off this over. I think we are going to see a change in Pakistan's bowling attack very soon. I don't think they'll continue Shea and Afridi. They decided to... Oh, actually, no, they'll give him 1 or 2 more because he did bowl 2 very nice balls at the end of his last over. So I'd say they'll keep him on for maybe 1 or 2 just to see if he can find that rhythm again. Oh, short ball from Shazad. That is the first short ball we have seen. Warner surprised it isn't a wide, but that will be the end of the over now. That's going to be 51 for none. Just showing some of the highlights of the two. As AU is inconsistent in the sevens as in Union. I mean, Australia and Union, though, normally consistently inconsistent, if that makes sense, or they aren't quite where they were. The Aussie Sevens, they've got potential. Like, they've made it quite far the last 2 legs, I believe. Oh, no, but they got knocked out by South Africa. It just depends on who they play a little bit. Maybe you could say it's similar to Union in terms of if they're playing tough sides, sometimes they really do struggle. Just showing David Warner again with that drive. 55 Ks he swung his bat. Very good opening partnership between these two. Watching using Willow. That's the only way to watch cricket in the US. I love seeing the exact same 30-second ad in between the overs. It's great. Says 317. See, the good news about like Sky Sport for us, they only really show us ads during the wickets, like once the wickets take place, and then also normally in the drinks break. But other than that, they don't normally try and squeeze it in, which is quite nice. Because I agree, when you're getting ads every 5 seconds, it kind of, you get drawn into the game, and then you get taken out as soon as you got like an ad. So you're kind of not fully in it, if that makes sense. Whereas when you get like a session back-to-back, or overs back-to-back, it kind of feels a lot better in terms of from a viewing perspective. Kawaja on strike 30, 2 balls faced, leaves that one alone. Same with Foxdale, like Amish said. Says Robert. I guess for the USA though, like in terms of the sports that they do have, there are a lot of opportunities for little breaks, aren't there? Like if it's in basketball, you've got your timeout. If it's in American football, you've got a lot of it, like in terms of just the gaps in between things taking place. So I guess they're trying to find a way of making cricket also that profitable side of thing from advertisers. But yeah, if it's the same advertiser every time, surely they're not going to pay that much money, I wouldn't think. How does America come up with $700 million contracts in baseball? Says Chronic, there's a lot of money involved. Like at the end of the day, in terms of the broadcasting and the licensing, the merchandise. So like, yeah, there's a lot of money around and sometimes, the players get rewarded. I saw that one about the $700 million contract, which is absolutely huge for the man. Pitched up nicely. Down the ground, no run taken for the Australians there again. Babar Azam getting angry at someone. Who's he getting angry at? And like USA will get NRL coverage in the first week of March, says Robert. Nice. Kawaja still on 16. Warner on 34. So we haven't seen actually too many runs not coming off the bat. I think there's just been the one lead by. And the betting in the USA. Or the betting. Says Robert. Left alone. Once again outside of the off stump. Shania Amir Jamal looks like he is going to be warming up. Getting ready to bowl. I'd assume that he is from the other end. That he will be bowling, and maybe they give Shaheen Afridi 1 or 2 more before taking him out. Also, we've already had that. Both the NRL and AFL are both covered by Fox Sports in the US. Each season, every AFL game is shown. Some of the NRL games are. So here's 317. That's going to be the end of the 11th over. 51 for none. See there the pitch map. Not a lot of consistency for the Pakistan opening 2 bowlers. Just looking at the time, they've got 7 minutes. I feel like already the over rate is slower than it should be. And we're only 13 overs in. Did I just hear rain? Hopefully not. Would prefer not to get wet at cricket training if I can help it. Jamal now coming into the bowling attack. Chance for him in his first class career. 29 matches, 76 wickets. And his best is 8 for 120. Some deep breaths now though. Ready to focus in on his line and length. I mean, like we're taking 2 NRL games to Las Vegas, says Robert. Oh, David Warner on strike. Jamal, his first ball. Warner goes after him. Tried to rock back and tried the pull shot there. For Jamal, yep, he's just in the eyebrow raise as if to say, why did he do that to me? What did I do to him? But Warner, he's going to try and put the pressure on these new bowlers as they come into the attack. Yeah, he's really mistimed that, David Warner. He's tried to pull it away to square leg. It's ended up going straight to the man at mid-on. Jamal out wide. Trying to tempt Warner a little bit there. And that is going to be a wide. You don't see them too often in Test match cricket. I think that was honestly a ball that he was trying to see whether or not Warner would have a bit of a crack at it. Yeah, I forgot about that. I wonder how long it'll take before the AFL follows. And cheers, Hamish. G'day, Robert. How's it, buddy? Says David the Mole. Welcome in, David. You are. Keep them well. 11 days till Christmas. That's a bit crazy, isn't it? It's almost 2024. I'm good, you, David. Says Robert. Now Warner. That's a nice cut shot. And hello, says Will Bailey. Welcome in, mate. You are doing extremely well as well. Nicely slapped away by Warner for that cut shot. And I said 10 days, you mean? Says Robert. Wait till Christmas? Or I know Christmas Eve's in 10 days, but 11 days till the 25th. If it's the 14th. And how are you? Says Will. I'm doing very well. Will Bailey. That name is familiar, I think. Or is it? Did I play cricket against you, Will, last week? Or is this a different Will? That one is not a wide for Jamal. He's really not finding... so am I. Says Will. And yeah, you're right. Says Robert. Oh, it's actually called as a no ball. He's overstepped it here. Yep, that is a fair call. Foot was over the line. And also really great, my man. Compliments of the season. To you too, Hamish. Says David the Mod. Looks like Jamal's actually adjusting his sprigs here, or his spikes on the bottom of his shoe. Not too happy at the moment with where his foot is coming in. And of course, this is actually the first over that we've seen bowled from this side of the wicket. I know you did play me. Wait, you did or I didn't play you? Out of curiosity. And same to you, David. Says Robert. Oh, that one's popped off the surface from Jamal. A little bit of extra oomph going into that one. Bit more effort. So far we've seen a wide and a no ball in his first over in Test match cricket. A little bit different to what we saw. You did play me. I thought it was Will. Because you guys aren't playing this weekend, are you? I think that too many of you guys are away on a tournament, I think I heard. So it's going to be no game between you guys and Pleasant Point. I should mention those videos that were filmed in terms of the GoPro. We've got a Roncalli final going out tomorrow. And then from there on, I'm hoping to upload them each and every week, pretty much building towards about March. So you might see yourself at some stage in the future. Although I think you did also play in that game last year that is on the channel. And Kawaja was 12 off 5 at one stage. And no, says Will there. Yeah, shorter ball to Kawaja. Morning, Hamish. Thanks for the commentary. Says Joss, no worries at all. Oh, Safaras, I should say. Doing well to be able to get that ball above his head. Kawaja asking for the wide. This is certainly a mixed bag of an over from Jamal. Hasn't found his line, hasn't found the length. It's a little bit wide also. But sometimes it's that unpredictability that can actually get you wickets. Because you don't know what he's going to bowl. It's either going to go way out one way out the other, short, full. What's likely, are the AFL being popular in the US? Or what's more likely, are the AFL being popular in the US or rugby football? Don't know. But yeah, like the fact that they've got the licensing in the US makes me think that AFL is something that like they could enjoy. Like I guess it's a bit confusing at the start in terms of what's actually happening throughout it. But once you get the hang of what's happened and what's happening in the game, you know, like I can see Americans getting behind it. Oh, that's better from Jamal. Starting to find it and looking forward to watching more of the Waimini First 11. Says David the Mod. Yeah, there is a few more videos coming up. We've actually got our final this weekend on Saturday. So hopefully it goes well. But I did show a clip earlier on. And in fact, Will know exactly who the people in this clip is. This is actually a clip from last weekend from GoPro cam of wicket-keeping on myself. So I'm going to show it in between that break. Here we go.
Serious? Boom!
Well done.
Oh.
That was Simon, ladies and gentlemen, our first slip, who absolutely loves it. He also growls when he catches the ball. And if I'm correct, I think, Will, you might have been the next guy to the crease after that, because they told you to just swing. 35 off 31 here for David Warner. Usman Khawaja sitting on 16 off 42. I think there's a fledgling AFL competition in the US. Arabia is still a bit more popular, says David the Mod. Yeah, I feel like rugby's one of those ones that we're still waiting for waiting for the US to really pick it up, and I think the World Cup will help that. Ashraf now coming into the bowling. It sounds like an English bulldog, says Chronic in there as well. I've just said that they haven't actually selected a specialist spinner in this Pakistan side. So you can understand why their odds were relatively low. They thought about the single, they won't get it. Fahim probably coming into the bowling attack at around the right time, seeing as both openers were quite expensive. Test career for Ashraf. He hasn't had a huge amount of matches. That is something that Pakistan are lacking in this game, is their experience under their belt. I know that Masood, the captain, said that in terms of the batting, they've got the experience to be able to match Australia. But other than that, bowling-wise, it might be a very tricky day at the office. I should mention this will actually be the last over that we do of today, ladies and gents, only because I have got cricket practice that I will have to go to very soon. And also fledgling in mean says David the Mod. Oh, the phone's ringing. Now, I won't be able to answer it quite yet, but I will see exactly who's ringing after this live stream is over. I've actually got one more over than I was going to, but I wanted to see whether or not Ashraf could get it right. It's going to be chipped to the leg side by Usman Khawaja. They will be able to get through for the 2 runs, do they? No, they actually only get the 1. Good work from Pakistan's fielding. But to Pakistan, why aren't they carrying a spinner when the pitch will break up in day 5, says Robert? It's a great question. And I feel like it's one of those ones that it will come to cost them later on in the contest. We are building 3 more stadiums in the US for the Olympics, says Robert. Now 3 balls remaining of the Ashraf over. That's a better ball. It was drifting across David Warner, but he's still been able to slap that ball away for the easy single. He's keeping that strike rotating at the moment for the Australians. Two balls to get the wicket. If they do get a wicket here, I will do 1 more over for the 2 balls that are remaining. If either of them are a wicket, we'll stick around for 1 more to see whether or not there's a chance that there is 1 more. Pitched up, great drive. Warner has to duck underneath it. It might have been the captain saying training's cancelled. Says Robert, no, I don't think they'd ring. I think they'd message the group chat if it was cancelled. But at the moment, in their chat, we've got about 4 people saying they'll be late. But other than that, we're good to go. Khawaja, 4 runs, straight down the ground. Almost hit Warner with the ball. I think he said sorry to him, but he's still laughing about it as well. 1 ball remaining for Ashraf. Oh, Khawaja wanted to leave that, but didn't quite work that way. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, we will be back for more of this test match in the future. Currently, they have got the drinks break, and I am about to have cricket practice. So that is why we do have to end just that little bit earlier. I always thought rugby league would have been popular in the US. as it's similar to the NFL football. Yeah, and it's a bit easier to understand, I'd say, than rugby union. So, yeah, I can understand why it would seem like it should be. And to be honest, if they market it correctly, it could be. Because I think they're playing a couple games over there, like mentioned earlier on. In the future, thank you, Hamish, says Robert. And there's also more than likely we will be back for tomorrow and also tomorrow evening, ladies and gentlemen, at around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. That is when the video of our GoPro cricket will be going up on the channel from last year's final as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It was great to see you all once again. I will see you all for the next.